Welcome back to MBA Monday. If you watched my last video and you were intrigued or enchanted or interested or curious or obsessed with Columbia Business School, this is the next video you need to watch because I'm going to tell you how to tackle the essays in 2026-2027, in the current cycle that we're in now, in 2026, and in the early part of 2027. Welcome back to MBA Protocol. I'm 𝐥𝐢𝐬𝐬. On this channel, we help humble overachievers get into top MBA programs to power bold career pivots. If you'd like to join our community for insiders only, where we have private events and content to help you build your MBA profile and choose the best schools for you, head over to mbaprotocol.com/community and join for free. Now I'm gonna dig in to the Columbia Business School essays and tell you how to tackle them, what Columbia is looking for, and what you need to prioritize. Now, if you'll remember from my last video, Columbia is very career focused. Unlike a school like Stanford, where the whole student experience is engineered around transformation and reflection and personal growth, Columbia has a much more outcome-driven goal culture. So as you would expect, the essays are also very career focused. We start with 2 short answer questions of 50 characters each, asking you very clearly to state your post-MBA goal and your planned summer internship. Columbia is getting very specific and detailed here because they need the exact information so that they can evaluate the credibility of your plan. What they say specifically in question 1 is, what is your immediate post-MBA professional goal? That's the job you hope to get full-time right after graduation. Then they say, how do you plan to spend the summer after the first year of the MBA? If in an internship, please include target industry or industries and function or functions. If you plan to work on your own venture, please indicate the focus of the business. They are pushing you to be very, very specific. So, obviously, in answering these 2 short answer questions, you want to be very, very specific. Being able to be specific about your immediate post-MBA goal is a result of excellent career game planning. Career game planning is the process of outlining your long-term vision, your post-MBA goal, your MBA program strategy, and your pre-MBA tactics to prepare you for recruiting, not just MBA admission. This is a huge part of the MBA protocol coaching process. And if you're interested in talking to us about how we help you cultivate this career game plan in a way that's true and inspiring and credible for these highly specific questions, head over to mbaprotocol.com/MBA and request a call to talk with me about your MBA goals and dreams and schools and essays. You're gonna love it. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, your career game plan is central to 4 out of the 5 answers you're going to give Columbia. Let's roll on to essay number 1. It says, through your resume and recommendation, we have a clear sense of your professional path to date. In other words, please don't summarize your LinkedIn. Please don't rehash your resume. Please don't list out all of your achievements in the 500 words that you have to outline the question, what are your career goals over the next 3 to 5 years, and what is your long-term dream job? They're really asking you to get very clear here about your career game plan. This essay represents half of your total word count. Remember, Columbia is career focused. It attracts highly ambitious and focused students, and many arrive with very clear career goals and a readiness to focus on recruiting right away. That means that the culture feels mature, focused, and really career driven. And since a big part of the value they offer their student body is the chance to begin building that career on campus in New York City among business's best and brightest and greatest giants, they need you to come in and hit the ground running. That means you're not gonna have a lot of time to figure out what you wanna be when you grow up, when you get to campus, and you have to prove to them in the essays that you've done your thinking and you've done the work to identify your goals. So this first essay can include, and in fact should include, elements of your past work experience It should not rehash your resume or your LinkedIn. If you're going to talk about the past, you're just going to include elements of your personal story and your personal life, your career, that are fueling or informing or motivating your post-MBA goals on whichever time horizon is relevant. Be sure to address every part of the question and include specifics around what you're going to do in the next 3 to 5 years, as well as your long-term dream job. And you're not just listing companies or titles or industries or functions here. You really need to paint a vivid picture of what you're going to be doing in the role that you take on post-MBA and in the long term. So they're looking not just for what, but also for how. How you're going to go about having an impact in your career, leading, making change happen should be an outgrowth of your values. So we bring all of our clients through a very in-depth discovery process. We call it 𝐥𝐢𝐬𝐬 TM because we're aiming to help you get down to the very bedrock of your character and understand exactly who you are, how you came to be the person you are today, who you're aiming to become through the MBA, and what all of that means in terms of the values that you uphold. The clearer you are about that, the easier this essay will be to write, because the answer will embody the truth about who you are. It won't be vague, it won't be clinical, it won't be manipulative, it will just be an organic and authentic expression of how you see your leadership unfolding in the future. That will make a huge difference to Columbia when they read this essay. I'm gonna come back to essay 2 because it's the one that people get the most wrong in this process. Now let me talk about essay 3, which is a direct extension of essay 1. They are letting you know that they think Columbia Business School is a special place with a collaborative learning environment in which students feel a sense of belonging, agency, and partnership, academically, culturally, and professionally. Just a little context setting there before we get into the question, which is, how would you co-create your optimal MBA experience at CBS? Again, the magic word, please be specific. So the key word here is co-create. And they've chosen this word very specifically because they don't want to know, what are you going to do at Columbia? And they don't want to know, what is Columbia going to do to you? They're looking for you to bring a sense of equality, agency, and collaboration to building your future within the Columbia environment. They're not looking for people who are expecting Columbia to do it to them. They don't want you to show up on campus clueless and just like ready for them to make the MBA happen for you. They need you to be planful, organized, and to co-create the experience yourself. So in this essay, this is kind of your why Columbia, let's say, although notice the question does not say why Columbia. They're asking you to be very concrete about what you're going to do while you're at Columbia to build your future and to contribute to campus. So this answer should feel very alive, very vibrant, very earnest, and very grounded in reality. You're not just going to list a laundry list of classes, professors, or clubs, or all of the above. You're going to really envision, what does your life look like when you're at Columbia? What are you doing in a given week? What are you leading? What are you creating? And within which structure of the campus are you participating? So the key to writing a really good essay 3 is research. You can start with AI. AI gives you really great groundwork on what to understand. Columbia has great resources to understand their incredibly robust curriculum. You should dig deep into that and look at what's most interesting and relevant to your future career goals that you laid out in essay 1. And then talk to people. Visit campus, show up at events, talk to students, talk to alumni, get a really concrete understanding of what life is like at Columbia so that when you write this essay, and perhaps even when you inject elements of your Columbia experience into essay 1, which is welcome and usually advised, you are speaking from genuine experience. It's not just book research that is informing your plan and your path through Columbia. It's genuine boots on the ground knowledge of what this school is all about and what your life is going to look like when you're there. Now let's circle back to essay 3. Please share a specific example of how you made a team more collaborative, more inclusive, or fostered a greater sense of community within an organization. 250 short words. Now, the biggest mistake I see people make on this essay is thinking of it like it's a leadership essay and taking the position that leadership is about ownership, taking the initiative, taking control, being in charge. And so you make this like, aren't I great, look at what I did style of essay. And that is going in the exact opposite direction of the intention of this question. This question is really about others. It's about the team, it's about the community, and it's about the organization. It's about how it was better because you were present than before you joined or than it would have been without you. So as you're brainstorming and considering how to approach this essay, you really need to look at where are the places where you've invested in others, where you took time and energy to include someone to make them more effective, to make their life better, to connect them with other people, or to bring an element to the team that was more connective, that was more inclusive, and that created a certain kind of a space and a certain kind of environment. I'm using these words, created, space, etc., over and over again, because it's important that you take the attention off of yourself when you're thinking through how to approach this essay and first start with others. Your agency is part of the story, so of course you will explain the choices that you made and what you did to create this more inclusive environment. But your goal here is to really deflect the attention off yourself and put it more onto the context, the team, the organization, and the community that you were nurturing and building in the process of that experience that you're using to answer this question. And finally, that brings me to the optional essay. Columbia gives you 500 words to talk about whatever else you want to talk about. Just kidding. They give you 500 words to explain any weakness or anomaly or suspicious element of your profile so that they have the full context to make a good decision about you despite any weakness, anomaly, blemish, or strange aura that might appear anywhere in your application. So it's not an invitation to tell another story, to talk about your background, to copy and paste your Stanford essay. This is where you just really want to assess your candidacy honestly, decide, is there something that I need to account for? A weak GPA, an F in a certain class, a weak term during undergrad, a quant class that just didn't go all that well, a test score that's, maybe not up to snuff, any kind of legal issues or disciplinary issues during your education. You know what I'm talking about. The anomalies and the weaknesses that when you go out into the internet tell you you're doomed if you have any one of these things in your profile. The good news is you're not. Columbia is inviting you to explain and give a brief explanation of any areas of concern in your academic record or personal history. You can even do it in bullet points. So they're inviting you to just let them understand the context so that they can put all the aspects of your candidacy into the appropriate frame and not overemphasize or assume the worst about any aspect of your candidacy. So for this essay, keep it brief, keep it direct, keep it simple. It's not a big story. Don't make it flowery. And most of you shouldn't write it at all, unless you have something that you need to explain. An unemployment gap, big gap in your resume, all these things. That's what this essay's for. That is it. That is the entire Columbia MBA application essay set for this year. I'm curious, for those of you who are serious about Columbia, for which essay do you have the most ready-to-hand answer? Or on the flip side, which essay are you freaking out about the most? Leave me a comment and let me know. And if you found this video valuable, while you're down there, you could also hit that subscribe button so that you're here next week when we tackle Wharton. I'm covering all the schools this year on this channel. I'm going to go in depth into each program and talk to you about how to tackle all of the essays for all of your favorite MBA programs. And I'm going to do them in peer pairs. Columbia and Wharton released their questions first, so they're the first two on the block. These two schools are actually quite similar in people's minds. They're both strong in finance. They're both in or near the center of finance. They both have really incredible brands, both in the US and abroad, and they're both known for very serious, competitive cultures of ambitious students. So come back next time, and we're gonna talk about Wharton before we get into the Wharton essays for this year, which are very, very interesting given the track record Wharton has had in the past. I'll see you next time, right here on MBA Monday. By the way, in case you missed my video on what there is to love about Columbia and what you might actually hate about it, please check out this video right here. Move your eyeballs quieter. I know, I went to all the trouble to get that clapper, and then I gotta use my darn hands.